Look, gentlemen, she's not going to choose the hottest guy. She's not going to choose the richest guy. She's going to choose the man who can hit her deep inside her mind and make her feel something that she herself cannot explain. Look, if you've ever had a girl flirt with you and text you back and act sweetly, but somehow still call you just a friend, that is not bad luck, gentlemen. That is a missing piece of knowledge, because what I'm about to reveal today in this video will completely rewire how you understand attraction, completely rewire how you understand women, and the hidden psychological game that most men will never see. And I'm talking 4 here. 4 deep subconscious female weaknesses, psychological blind spots that all women have, that once triggered, make her body feel it before her brain can even stop it. And once you understand these 4 female weaknesses of women, you're never gonna look at dating or relationships or yourself the same way again. And let me warn you, if you ignore these, that is the recipe for staying stuck. If you ignore these, you will stay invisible. You're gonna watch that girl that you like oh so much flirt with some other guy that doesn't even care about her. And look, I used to be that guy. My name's Jesse, and I was the safe guy. I was the nice guy. I was the guy that women ran to for advice about the guys they were actually sleeping with. And I started eventually dating women, talking to women, approaching lots of women, and I saw certain patterns begin to emerge. Because just like how a man's desire can be triggered visually, women likewise have certain psychological turn-ons that they absolutely cannot resist. Weaknesses that bypass all of her filters. Weaknesses that short circuit all of her logic. Weaknesses that make her crave a man with an intensity she does not understand herself. You see, most men chase attraction in all the wrong ways. They try to flash around money, they try to brag about their job, they try to look alpha, but none of that matters if you don't touch the woman where it really counts. And I'm not talking about her body here, gentlemen. I'm talking about right here inside of her mind. So in this video, I'm going to hand you the 4 psychological triggers that literally make a woman melt on contact. And just to prove this goes beyond mere words, at the end of this video, I'm gonna show you a special technique I call the voice trigger, where I literally say random words, and I still build so much sexual tension with that girl that she will shiver in pleasure just from the sound of your voice alone. So stick with me, guys, because this last trigger is one she doesn't even know she has. And once you unlock it, she will never be able to ignore you again, even if you're in the friend zone with her. All right, so let's crack into it, gentlemen. You want to trigger a woman's deepest fear and her deepest desire at the exact same time? Well, you gotta walk away like you do not need her. And I remember one of the first times I learned this lesson. It was in the middle of a mini heartbreak. So there was this girl I was seeing back when I was still trying to figure this all out. And she was very attractive. She had this spark in her eyes that made every moment around her feel pretty electric. And for a couple of weeks, we were more or less inseparable. But then, almost like flipping a light switch, she began to pull away from me. We're talking longer reply times, canceling plans, acting like I just wasn't that important. And like most other guys, I began to panic. I started texting her more. I asked her what was wrong. I tried to fix it. I went into full nice guy mode, explaining myself and trying to win her back. And every message I sent her, every ounce of energy I gave off, all screamed just one thing: I need you more than you need me. And that's precisely when she lost interest in me and pulled away even more. And here's what I learned the hard way: women cannot resist a man who is willing to walk away from them. That is a huge weakness of women. You want to know one of the most powerful hidden weaknesses that all women have? Well, it's their emotional response to a perceived loss. And it's basic psychology, really, guys. People don't value what's always available. Rather, they value what they're afraid to lose. And that's why the most magnetic men out there aren't the ones who are trying the hardest, but rather the most magnetic men, the ones that women go weak for, are the ones who are willing to walk away and leave. And yet, Most men do the exact opposite. They sense the girl pulling away from them and they start clinging on to her even harder. And they chase harder. And they beg harder. And they explain harder. And they begin apologizing for things they didn't even do wrong. And all that proves to her is just one thing. That you are not the prize, my friend, but rather she is the prize. That's all that says. And the second that she feels that shift in that dynamic, her attraction drops for you like a hot potato. Because a man who can walk away without any hesitation communicates something truly powerful to a woman without saying a single word to her. It communicates, girl, I am not desperate for you. I have other options, and my self-worth doesn't live or die by your validation. And that drives women absolutely crazy. That's precisely what makes women so weak for you. So here's the rule you have to follow, gentlemen. Be willing to walk away. Because a man who has standards is a man that she has to work to keep. And the second that she senses that you're only gonna stay if she respects you, that's when her fear of losing you kicks in. That's when she starts chasing you. That's when you become that man that she cannot stop thinking about. And look, if you've ever fallen into that trap of chasing a girl too much, or over-explaining yourself too much, or clinging on to her too much when you shouldn't have, guys, we've all had our moments of weaknesses. Drop your story in the comments below because I want to hear it. Now, as powerful as walking away from a woman truly is, this next trigger will hit her even harder by setting other women against her own instincts. You see, women are weak for a man that other women want. And that's simply hardwired into women. For example, not too long ago, I was at this rooftop party and this female friend of mine, cute girl, long blonde hair, she showed up and she practically latched herself onto me. So everything I was saying, she was laughing at, she was touching my arm, she was standing just a little bit too close to me. And suddenly, the other women at the party, women who hadn't even noticed me before, started checking me out. Another woman who had completely ignored me previously now accidentally bumped into me. So it was a bit like flipping on a light switch. And here's what you gotta understand about women, gentlemen. Women are wired to compete for what other women want. You know, there's an old saying which you probably heard. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And in dating, it's exactly the same thing. The man who's desired by women becomes even more desired, while the man who's ignored becomes even more invisible. You see, when a woman sees that other women are drawn to you, now she doesn't have to spend all that extra mental energy trying to figure out your value. Instead, she's seeing it proven to her in real time because you're around other beautiful women. It's like a shortcut for her brain to determine your value. It is a green light. Now you might be thinking, well, Jesse, look, I don't have hot girls around me already. I'm not at some fancy party with hot girls there. Well, that's precisely why you need to start weaving social proof and weaving pre-selection into your conversations and do it in a way where you're not coming across as bragging. For example, you can casually reference other beautiful women in the stories you tell. Like you can talk about ex-girlfriends that you used to go traveling with, or mention the cute bartender you met the other day. But the goal isn't to show off here. It's simply to plant a simple, powerful seed deep inside that woman's mind. And that seed is, other women want me. And if you don't move fast, girl, I could get snatched up at any moment. Because the truth is, gentlemen, a man who is in demand creates urgency. A man who is in demand creates competition, creates scarcity, creates desire. And that is a key weakness in all women. Now, I'm not saying to like build a fake harem just to attract women. No, guys. But I am saying this. If you're always painting yourself as the lonely guy, if you're painting yourself as the underdog, as the man who's always waiting for the right girl to finally notice him, then you are killing your own attraction before it even gets started. So instead, you want to start communicating that beautiful women have already chosen you. Because when a woman senses that you are already wanted by other women, that's precisely when she starts to want you even more. All right, so forget the clever lines for a moment. If you want to melt a woman's defenses without even touching her, gentlemen, the secret is really simple. Hold her gaze with some prolonged eye contact and do not look away first. And I know that sounds really simple, and yet this one skill can create more raw, magnetic, sexual tension between you and that woman than 100 clever lines ever could. Because here's the truth of it, gentlemen. Women are weak for men that can hold prolonged eye contact with them. You know, it's said that the eyes are the windows to the soul. And when you look directly into a woman's eyes and you just stay there, now you're sending her dozens of powerful subconscious messages directly into her mind. Like, he's confident. He's used to getting attention. He's not intimidated by my beauty. He is the prize. And it's that prolonged, unbroken eye contact between you and the girl that creates the tension. That's what creates that friction. That's what creates that social pressure. And pressure is exactly what makes that girl feel something deep inside that she can't logically explain. And when you can just stay present in that pressure without cracking, without fidgeting, without breaking eye contact with her, now you're silently communicating something irresistible to that woman, that I have been treated well by women before, that I am a high value man, that I am leading the interaction, I am not following. While other guys, they're looking away first, they're lowering their eyes to the ground, and they break all the tension because they cannot handle that tension and the friction. And when you break eye contact first with the girl, you're subconsciously communicating that you are lower status. But when you can hold that eye contact with the woman, when you can own the eye gazing with her, when you can lean into the tension instead of running away from it, suddenly you flip a switch inside of her mind where you create massive levels of sexual tension without even touching the girl. But look, locking eyes with a woman is just the beginning, because in this next trigger, you're going to learn how to seduce a woman's mind without even speaking a full sentence. So I want you to listen carefully. If you're a man over 30 and you are tired of wasting time and you're tired of playing all the guessing games with women and you are ready now to get some real results, well, I've got something for you. Right here at YoungerPartner.com, you can apply to work with me personally. My name is Jesse, one-on-one inside my elite coaching program. And this isn't some cookie cutter advice here. I've coached hundreds of men and gotten them beautiful younger girlfriends using something called visual neural programming, which is a unique method that rewires how you think, it rewires how you behave, and how you attract women automatically. It's a little bit like installing a brand new operating system inside of your mind, but an operating system built for attraction, creating dominance, and creating connection with that woman, where there's no more trying to act confident around her, there's no more using fake routines that don't work, and no more being stuck deep inside of your head. And I got a 95% success rate at this, guys, because this is not about memorizing a bunch of lines. This is about becoming the man that women feel drawn to without even knowing why they do it. Because look, the brutal truth of it is, gentlemen, if what you've been doing up to now was ever going to work, it would have worked already. So if you're serious about finally flipping the switch, if you're ready to have women chase you for a change, then I want you to go right here to YoungerPartner.com and apply. Many years ago, I went on a date with this girl that I had been texting for weeks. And over text, the conversation had been pretty good. And then we met in person. And I remember introducing myself to this girl. And the second that I opened my mouth, I saw it, how her energy shifted, where she smiled politely, but now her smile was a little bit different, right? Her pupils didn't dilate, her body didn't lean in. I didn't feel any tension. I didn't feel any electricity with this girl. And I thought about it later, and I realized that it wasn't what I said, but how I said it. You see, one of the most underrated psychological triggers for attraction is this: a deep, calm, controlled voice. The voice trigger. And this isn't just some random female preference, all right? It is biological. It is evolutionary psychology. Studies have shown over and over again that women consistently rate men with deeper voices as being more attractive, as being more dominant, and more confident. So it is one of women's key core weaknesses because a deep voice signals that you have high testosterone, a deep voice signals authority to the girl, and it signals emotional control and confidence. But if your voice is rushed, or uncertain, or high-pitched, she might smile politely, she might listen to what you have to say politely, but she's not going to feel what you want her to feel inside because a weak, nasally voice screams only one thing to a woman: low confidence. Even if you as a man have no idea that's the signal you're giving off. You could memorize all the best pickup lines in the world. You could master eye contact. You could wear like the sharpest jacket in the room. But if you are speaking with hesitation, if your voice is cracking under pressure, if you sound like you're seeking approval with every single sentence you say, the girl will not feel aroused by you. Period. End of story. So what's the fix exactly here? Well, for starters, it means slowing things down, speaking a little more slowly, and dropping your voice down into your chest so you have a deeper voice. It means pausing before you speak, pausing before answering her, pausing more in between your sentences so you let these long, tension-filled pauses and silences start to work in your favor. And when you do this, everything is going to start to change. Now, I'm not saying you got to sound like James Earl Jones, okay? But I am saying this. If you want to be more attractive to women, be more commanding, be more unforgettable, you got to start right here with the voice. Because your voice is either going to be repelling the girl subconsciously or making her tingle with arousal and curiosity and desire. And if you've ever had a moment like I did, where a woman suddenly lost interest in you and you couldn't figure out why, maybe think back. Was it your voice? Was it the way you were speaking to her? And let me know down in the comments if that's ever happened to you. Because sometimes the biggest shift in attraction starts with something as subtle and as powerful as the way you say hello to the woman. All right, since you enjoyed this video, you want to watch this one next, guys. This is what you say to a woman when she asks you, how old are you? Which is particularly useful if you're much older than her, right? Maybe in your 40s or your 50s or even your 60s, and you want to date younger, beautiful women. Well, this question is going to come up, especially if she's interested in you. She's going to ask you this question when she's interested. She's not going to ask this question to some random guy off the street, how old are you? So you need to have a good answer in your back pocket so you can actually increase attraction with that girl when she asks you that question. So go watch that video right now.